Boy, oh boy, did we get some huge news for Terminal World. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Up here, you are going to see a magazine scan of Terminal World, the booster pack. And this is actually very interesting because it's not very often that we get a booster pack image circulating around, especially, this early on, because, this set's not supposed to come out till late November. Here we are in early October, and they're already showcasing art pieces out here from this. Now, we are going to be analyzing what we have here, and this is going to be, we adjusted it, everything looks a lot better. Now, you are going to notice up here in the top left is going to be our new Bryonic monster, which, actually, I still love the art on this thing. I think that this card is one of the craziest cards that they could have actually released. And then up here in the top right, you are also going to notice something that reminds you a little bit more of our Infernoid monster, because it is our Infernoid monster. So those are our two major picks. Now, down in the bottom left of this is where my vested interest starts in this. Because keep in mind, the Terminal World set was only supposed to be 4 archetypes. I remember them saying that each archetype was only supposed to get 2 cards, and they're supposed to be alternate arts, but, it looks like they scrapped a lot of that initial thought. So, down here in the bottom left, I want to talk about a couple of the theories based on the art that we're seeing. And the first one, this reminds me more of a Flamvel Monster. If you do notice, somebody's be like, Robbie, you're looking at literal pixels here. Well, the big thing is when you're looking at a lot of these things, the one thing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Does have very strongly is uniformity. God, I just butchered that. A lot of the things that tend to look the same will tend to flow into archetypes, so you can predict a lot of things, especially when it's reprint-esque new cards. And Flamvel kind of checks the mark here for this, because if you look at it, the only thing that it doesn't necessarily check is this thing looks like it has a giant mace in its hand. But, if you're surrounding it with fire, and you finally gave, a fire element to, something like this, then that would mean that we could be actually looking at new Flamvel support. Now, let's be honest, Flamvel's not in exactly the greatest position to be getting new support. Actually, if anything, Flamvel is in an absolutely, if you're only going to give them 4 cards, those 4 cards better be insane. You know what I mean? Especially, dedicating some of the other stuff. Now, there's also talk here, a few people were like, no, this is actually just Xaber. I don't remember any of the Xabers ever actually, using club-esque weapons or, anything like that. Most of the Xaber dedicated stuff was pretty straightforward, honestly. Though, to be fair, Gotham's tends to look like he could do anything that he really wants to, because that man is just straight ripped. That's one of the biggest things that you have to consider out here is, yeah, Xaber is way overdue for something, and they were very far back in the dual terminal lore. They also have what I would say are some of the more modern era good stuff cards that could actually kind of lead them into, some sort of relatively interesting power-ups that you could kind of bring to the table for them. And it wouldn't be so much out of the realm of possibility here to see something like this. So, I don't know. It's an interesting one to keep an eye on, too. And then the last one here is, I am kind of wondering if this might be a signal for Genx support. And somebody's going to be like, Robbie, there's not been a single Genx monster that looks like they've been in a position like this. I do agree with you, but if you look back at a lot of the old Genx monsters, especially Axel, these things can do all sorts of weird little poses and all sorts of little things along the way. Alright, I'm not saying that this doesn't look like a warrior class, because it definitely does, but Genx doesn't necessarily not check the box because of the different ideas that the Genx parts were merging with. It wouldn't be so far out of the realm of possibility to have something that looks like a warrior class actually kind of step into the light here. So I'm actually kind of curious about that myself. I'm actually wondering if it's probably going to lean towards Flamvel or Xaber, but we're not out of the realm out here for Genx. Now, back to the booster pack image here. I want to talk about the bottom right, because the bottom right image, I think, is by far the most interesting out of everything that we see in this booster pack. You're going to notice that it looks more humanesque, and that's usually going to lead into a lot of interesting discussion points, because a lot of people are like, you know what this means, right? It's finally time. The theories on this. Some people are like, okay, cool, this is Zephyra support. You know, we've been waiting for more Zephyr stuff. You know, technically the Zephyr story did leave a lot to be desired, and you just massively powered up Infernoid and Ice Barrier, and then you leave a little bit more room out here to be desired for Zephyr. I'm not going to be the first person to tell you that people want more Zephyr support. I mean, there's an entirety of things that you could be exploring out here for, you know, power-ups for that lore. Let's call it what it is, all right? Because you called up a Zephyr member from every single tribe. I mean, there's a lot of people that we still have not called up on the phone and said, hey, yo, come on over here. You know, it'd be really cool to see you guys coming on over to the Zephyr side of things, all right? Also, Zephyr's got enough good cards that they wouldn't automatically fall off the face of the planet in terms of, you know, some sort of new support, which would be kind of cool. Now, since we're in, like, the humanoid department, Ritual Beast. Now, this is an interesting one. Ritual Beast did have enough tamers and enough things, the spiritual tamers, I believe they were called, spiritual Ritual Beast, whatever they were. We never really... Most of them were just tamers. We never really got like a boss monster-esque theme for this, you know, in terms of the humanoid department. You know, it'd be really cool if we could actually have like a supercharged tamer where, you know, maybe the ultimate Ritual Beast tamer where they're obviously able to special summon maybe anything from the extra deck, you know, call upon any of the utility options that the deck has had established for it. That's a route that we've never really taken with the Ritual Beast, and it is, I guess, highly likely as a possibility. You have all sorts of cool things that you could explore. Ritual Beast, definitely, whatever you give them, it would have to be insane as well. That's why, like, I question some of this. And then, of course, something that I think this kind of points to a little bit more is Shaddoll. Especially looking at the previous art that we had here. Well, let's call it what it is at this point in time. Shaddoll, if you gave Infernoid and Ice Barrier support, some of the most recent upgraded, well, technically Infernoid hasn't gotten a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, with an already established crazy card pool of things, adding anything else into the Shaddoll card pool is actually just a crazy sentence of craziness that you shouldn't really be doing at this point in time. If you are doing this, Konami, mark my words, you are going to have terrible, terrible, terrible things start to happen to this game. The more players who get access to more of these Shaddoll power-ups, the more crazy things that you could actually start to see happen. Alright, so I'm hoping that this isn't Shaddoll support, just strictly on the fact that I don't want to deal with, you know, Winda and friends, but anything's possible. And then, I had a theory that this could be Clea Fort support. Clea Fort was initially mentioned on the Twitter page, and we have seen the Clea Fort core itself getting shoved up places that it shouldn't be shoved, let's be honest here. But we never really saw, you know, the core itself merging with the idea of something more humanoid. I mean, we've seen Winda, you know, walking around out here being possessed, but what would happen if we were to stick the core of, you know, the Clea Fort into a, you know, humanoid body? You know, we never explored that option. Once again, that would be kind of cool, actually. You got a lot of these humanoid aspects that a lot of these archetypes never really ventured down out here. So that is highly, highly, highly a possibility. Now, I know that's a lot of speculation. And with speculation, you have to keep a lot of eyes on a lot of these different archetypes, because getting ahead of things. The last thing I want to talk about is none of these boxes checks Elswarm. I'm really mad about that. I have been wanting Elswarm support. I've been very vocal about Ophion and friends and the Elswarm virus infecting some of the coolest cards in the game. And right now, we're just not exploring it. I don't know what's going on with the impact or the idea of Konami not wanting to explore more Elswarm stuff, but I know to all of my Elswarm friends out there that we will eventually get some support and our time will come. So this is mainly to go, hey, looks like we've process of elimination a lot of the list. It looks like we are going to have the chance to see where some of this stuff is going to go. And I am very, very curious to know who are going to be the winners of the crazy buyout round that's going to come the next round of this support coming, because it's going to be a fun time. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.